Okay, first thing to note is this part, the loop, chicken loop, is identical. It's really good quality. The plastic feels awesome. There's nothing to upgrade on this. I think that's perfect for the job. It comes with these sort of grooves in them. You get that when it's new. So the next thing, in the Dreamstick V2, you've actually got this tube. Just check you can see that tube sticking out here, which is what the depower line runs through. This part actually sort of pushes in and out, which is a bit odd. And it looks like this ring should have been in there, but obviously that wouldn't detach. So it's almost as if they designed this part to work for the X version, where obviously it sits inside there and it spins around nicely. So I don't get that. It's almost as if they knew they were going to do this when they did the V2, because these parts are identical. Because you haven't got this little point in here, it means this opening where depower flagging line goes through is a lot bigger, and that's a good thing, which we'll come to. The eject is the same on both, works really nicely, can't fault it, feels 100% safe with that. The rotation, ceramic bearings, brilliant. This one's been used for about 100 days, still perfect still. So obviously we're gonna now go to the monobloc versus these. This one is obviously just got the flagging line through, it's pretty empty. This has got a solid rope in it. They kind of bend funny the way they come out on the V2. This is all nice and straight. I heard about some riders who are unhooking a lot, caused some wear on this area, which I think is going to be addressed. So that's a nice upgrade. This plasticky sheath feels a lot more sturdy and slidey. These over time have sort of furred up a bit and become a bit more grippy. I don't feel like this is going to go the same way, so this is nice. I'm really excited about this. So onto the bar. One of the issues I had with the V2 bar, I mean, look, 99% of the time, this is a great bar. I love it to bits. It's been awesome. When you first get this V2 bar, these bungees are very difficult to pull over there without trapping your finger in. But they do hold the lines on nicely when you get them on there. The trouble with this bar is when these are out, this part of the bar looks like it's going to be nice and wind the lines in nicely. But as soon as you bend these over, you kind of lose this. So the knack with the V2 bar is rolling the lines, and you learn to roll them on this portion and not actually go up near this, because one, it makes it the higher up you go here, more likely they are to spill off, and the harder it is to pull this elastic over. So if we go on to the new bar, you can already feel that this bit here and here is very different. Like the bar just feels much more, it's quite loose and wobbly here, whereas this is all sort of rigid, and it's just this part that is bending, and this is staying as a nice winder on. So really happy with that upgrade. I'm also really happy that the bungees now seem to come the right length. I can flick these over easily, so if you're in a cold climate and you've got gloves on, that's a piece of cake. The next thing with this bar, I'm going to have to unwind the lines to show you, so I'll be back. Okay, so we've got the lines wound out now. What I was talking about before is, as you close these off to wind the bar, it actually reduces the way that the lines can be held. And on the new bar, It's just this piece that moves. It's certainly a massive improvement, so that's good. Okay, next issue I found with this bar, which I will stress is awesome. I love it. I love the how thin it feels. It's a great bar. Anyway, you're fully powered up. It's 35 knots. You're on the beach, you want to land, and you want to pull some depower. The bar is being pulled up fully up against the block here. You go to pull some depower, and it doesn't grip in the gripper because the bar angle stops it. It's actually too close to this. So what I find I had to do was grab hold of the bar and this. So you have to actually pull a bit of power when you don't want to get this to click in, and then you can release the bar. So it wasn't quite right. In the new one, I haven't flown this yet, so I can't tell you for sure, but look where this is. Look at the difference in position. So bars are level, distance here is now greater on this bar. So the cleat is actually further away from the bar. It's also dead center on the top. So if I'm riding massively powered up on the beach and I want to pull some depower, it just works. So that's great, even with the bar fully up. So I'm happy about that. So the next thing, this bar when you flag out, okay, it slides through nicely, not a problem. What you've got is a loop-to-loop connection. Mine's actually worn, we'll talk about that. What you want this bar to do when it flags out is to flag out nicely and fly away from you, right? That's its primary purpose, flagging out. Then you've got to reset it. I accept that resetting it might not be as simple, but if it was my dream bar, it would be. First thing, this catches on there, that little opening, the knot, and it actually causing a bit of wear, admittedly, to this flagging line, but you don't want this flagging line to break. So it catches there, you then wiggle it through. Some other connection in here is a little tricky, and then you're all the way through. Bear in mind you're probably dragging up sand and shit if this is flagged out on the beach. And the next place it gets stuck is here. This time it's actually pulled through, but if you've got a bit of sand and grit, there's another problem just there, that last piece getting it through. So resetting it wasn't great. Also, the reason I've got this bar is Reedin, or the dealer, sent me this for free because I've had a warranty issue with this bar, and the issue is he's centered around this. So if you can see this line, the lark's head loop, it started to cut through strands, and I'll show you some better photos of this, but also in there it's worn. And what I think is happening is when you're powered up, you've got equal tension on both lines. All of a sudden, pressure goes on your flagging line, and this twists, and it drags like that, and it creates this type of a scenario, which is wearing. I mean, that combined with a tiny few grains of sand in there, those sharp edges has eaten through this line. I'm still not convinced this is a perfect solution, and we've got the same solution in here. This knot hasn't really been flown yet, so it hasn't seated in, but when this one flags, okay, it slides through down that way, absolutely perfect. Didn't even feel anything. Okay, so now I'm going to reset this first problem. Now that this is a nice wide hole, gone. Next, it gets to here. So that bar, that That is basically where this material is joining this. It is hitting definite, and then it's gone. So I kind of had to jiggle and shake that through, and then all the way through, fine. So this is much improved, this end, the way it goes through. Look at that, nice big opening, not a problem. Okay, so I'll pull this through this way, flagging way. It goes through there with no stress at all. You've got that out of the way. It goes through this part, easy. So that problem is solved. This problem is solved. There is an issue here, and I think curiosity is going to get the better of me, and I'm going to be opening that up to see if there's something can be done where this tubing joins the body. This is a really great system, the ball bearings, by the way. The way this slides around. Really nice. So, the only issue I can see now is just that little catch on the way through there. If you know about it, it's not like a deal breaker. 99% of the time you're not ejecting, someone's going to launch you, someone's going to land you. It doesn't affect purchasing this bar, it's just, is it a dream bar? I'm not the one that called it that. So. And this situation, if you've had a similar issue, let me know in the comments. But next thing is to get it on the water and fly with it, because I am interested to see how this feels, the range of motion. I mean, look at that. With this powered up, I can depower still, and that's with it dry, over 45 degrees. I mean, look at that. That's the range you've got. And that slides through there easy with a bit of water, and you'll even be able to steer like that and sheet out, I reckon. So that is going to be great. And that action, that is a dream really, that's lovely. Yeah, so one other thing I forgot to mention is this depower rope here is really good quality. I don't know if you can see, it's very tight weave, feels really nice, and even after a ton of use, you can see it looks a little bit furry, but it's still so firm. I don't know if there's another cord inside this cord, but yeah, I wouldn't say that that's anywhere near worn yet. This is just from where it's been gripping. But this depower rope is really nice. Yeah, and just to talk about the grip briefly, obviously they've improved the colouring here. It's a lot more obvious if this is underwater. Grips feel, as you're saying, this one was smooth. This one's got a few sort of indentations on it, or raised bits actually. But on this bar, I could kite, 3-4 hour session and not have any sores or anything on my hands. So it's a really nice grip, and it's still a really nice grip. So these are the lines when they're new. This is 100 days later. Obviously red always fades, but they're a bit furry. They're still in good order. Okay, so curiosity did get the better of me, as you can see, and this is the issue really. This metal piece, when this slides inside here, it moves up to about this sort of level. So if we look down in there, there's not a lot of room. It may even seat flush on the top of there. It's catching there.
and then you have to put enough pressure on to get it to go across. So I think that's the issue, is because that's center and it has to actually move that way. It does it easier when it's apart like this, but it doesn't have as much room to move sideways once this mouthpiece is in there as well. And I know from experience this knot, once it's flown on, is only going to get flatter because it sits in a very flat base, and that's taking the full load of the kite. So I feel like this, like, relatively minor issue is going to get a bit worse as this becomes flatter. But minor stuff. It's a wonderful bar. I'm going to go fly it as soon as there's some wind, and I'll report back.